Greetings, Kooplings! My name is Donnie Reese, and almost 3 years ago I founded Play Some Video Games and launched the PSVG podcast network with a group of my friends from across the internet.
I'm Kevin Austin, also one of the original members. Fast forward almost 3 years later, hundreds of podcasts, over 100 professional video game reviews, over 400,000 listens in over 10 countries. You might say we've grown into something much bigger than that group of people on a message board years ago.
And I'm Kyle Hyman. We at the PSVG Podcast Network have always been driven by one core philosophy: to be better than we were last week. We're on a never-ending journey towards podcast excellence, and we want to deliver something new, unique, and fresh to those who are kind enough to lend us their ear.
Since that February way back in 2016, that simple idea has evolved into something much bigger than we ever expected. Today, the PSVG Podcast is now the PSVG Podcast Network. We have a bunch of different podcasts ranging from video games to board games to real-life experiences. We do live streams, written reviews, video reviews, basically anything that comes across our way, really. But if this is the first time you've ever heard of PSVG, first, thank you so much for even dropping by our Patreon page. Really, it means the world to us. But here's just a few more details on exactly what it is we do here.
Every Monday, you can typically find yourself listening to me as I host the show that started it all for us, Play Some Video Games, or more commonly known as PSVG. On this show, I'm joined by a few different folks from our roster each week as we discuss what we've been playing, news of the week, listener mailbag, and I might just go on a rant about a thing or two. We've even had discussions with game developers, authors, and the occasional Food Network star. Tuesdays will find you tuning into PSVG OT, starring Coach Mo and Devin. These two co-host what they describe as a relationship-building podcast as these two lovable characters share their stories, memories, and sometimes even a life lesson or two with their audience, each other, and occasionally a special guest. Each week, Devin goes in completely blind, not knowing what Coach Mo has in store for him as far as topics, so there is bound to be a laugh or two.
Wednesdays is the release day for PSXP, also known as the PlayStation Experience. Hosted by Seth and Justin, these two Sony fanboys break down all the news, announcements, and releases from Sony. Long story short, these two focus on what really matters, the games. Thursdays will find you in my territory, as I, with my co-host Josh, take you on a co-op adventure through Board with Video Games, the gaming podcast that strives to give you the right balance of coverage for the games you play on your table, as well as your television. We cover the biggest stories in the board gaming and video gaming world, give you our thoughts on the board games we're playing, which is a lot of them, and even have a discussion or two with game developers to talk about their experiences as well as the games they've published.
And on Fridays, the Shack is back. The Nintendo Shack, that is, where Jason, Caroline, and myself break down all things you need to know about Nintendo. Whether it be the latest Nintendo rumor to hit the internet, or our reactions to Nintendo's recent Direct, every Friday we break down all the things that you need to know to make sure that you're informed, pumped, and geeking out about everything that's going on in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Now, typically once a month, we have two more shows coming to you. First one, State of the Xbox Empire, hosted by Nathan and Donnie. In this show, they discuss the headlines from Xbox Game Pass to games with gold, from idea to Xbox to what shirt Phil Spencer is wearing at this press conference. You can bet these two are going to talk all about it. Secondly, we have Arcadia Academia, where Caro and I take a retro game, be it a cult classic, a major title, or maybe just something we had fond memories of, and break down the game from what it is to how it was made, and even some surprise things you might not have known. Our goal here is to make sure at the next nerd cocktail party, you're the smartest man or woman in the room.
That pretty much sums up where we are today. As we said, we're far from those early days of podcasting. While we might be big, we're still dedicated as ever to deliver a quality product to you, the listener. The best way to help us continue to do this, the best way to help us grow, is simply to support us with a listen, and maybe share us with someone who you think might appreciate what we do.
But if you wanted to do more, if you wanted to support us, well, that's what the Patreon's for. Let me be clear. The ultimate and really only goal is to support and continue to sustain what PSVG currently does. We have no grand ideas of turning this into a career or becoming YouTube or podcast stars. We simply just want to keep doing what we're doing. doing what we love. We want to keep making these podcasts, and we want to share them with as many people as possible. And we want to be open to new ideas and new avenues, new shows that come up in the future. And that's really what this Patreon is for. So if you'd like to show your support for us and all that we're doing, if you'd like to support the PSVG Podcast Network and help keep the mothership afloat, if you will, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/PSVG, where for just $1 a month, we're offering a newsletter, exclusive giveaways, community game nights, some DLC stuff, and who knows, every once in a while, something might even show up in that mailbox of yours.
So thanks for bearing with us while we explained all that to you. There's a lot to take in here for sure. We just want to share what we can offer to the masses. With all the content we deliver, be it either in podcasts, YouTube, Twitch, in our Discord, or just on the website, there's bound to be something for everyone. But as always, the most important thing we ask is that you never stop gaming.